Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to thank the Amirah Foundation for inviting us all here tonight, because it seems we all need a reminder that half of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's beautiful deen, this ummah, are women. The mothers, the daughters, the sisters, the workers, the co-creators, the householders, the supporters, and they need us tonight. So I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about what it is being a revert Muslim. Because although when I come to talk, people see someone who's on TV. People see someone who is, alhamdulillah, thanks be to Allah, shown a lot of love from this ummah. So the sisters come up and they show me love. And you can see a popular person around you. But I have to tell you, there are moments in every revert's life when it's completely lonely. So when Amirah Foundation, when I found them, and I'll tell you how that happened recently, I was so grateful, and I was so proud of Shaz and everybody, and I was so proud of Birmingham that this movement for women has come from here. Alhamdulillah. Yes, I'm a revert Muslim of just 2 years. Ramadan 2011. My first Ramadan was the loneliest month of my life. I had spent a year traveling the ummah, being praised mistakenly, being treated kindly. But brothers and sisters, what happened in Ramadan? 30 days and nights of loneliness, of looking at Facebook, of people saying, MashaAllah, we're having the biggest feast of our lives. My granny, my auntie, my sister, whoa, and thinking, alhamdulillah, enjoy it. As I sat alone with my 2 daughters, going hungry and not really understanding why. Going thirsty and not really knowing anything about Taraweeh. Because no one had explained it to me. Because, hey, you're Lauren Booth. It's like you arrive and you're supposed to know everything because you're getting direct from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we know does not happen. So we need you, every revert. And alhamdulillah, my first tests have been so light. What? A little bit of loneliness in Ramadan, the smallest violin in the world. But I'm grateful to Allah for those moments. Why? Because it gives me a reminder of what it's really like when you enter this deen. So I had a good reminder in Ramadan 2011 about the loneliness that can encompass these women coming in great numbers, alhamdulillah, in Britain. I remember going on a retreat. That was just this March. And all the people there were so kind. My daughters with their father, because as a revert, half of your family, the majority of your family is not going to be Muslim. And I went to bed that night on the retreat, 10 o'clock, and I could hear all the other families still having fun. So loneliness is only one factor, but isolation, persecution, can we really believe these words apply to this beautiful ummah? Unfortunately, they do. I want to share with you tonight, brothers and sisters, a couple of stories that have come straight to my door. I found the Amirah Foundation because a friend of mine, let's call her Lucille, one of the most amazing sisters I've ever met in my life. She's been a Muslim for 15 years, alhamdulillah. She's brought up 3 children on her own after 3 terrible marriages. 3, one of them so brief. Do you know how long it lasted? 2 nights. Some people would call it rape. But that brother said it was nikah. 3 nights is her shortest marriage. She has 3 children, but she is an upstanding Muslimah. And what was she describing to me of her life? Because she doesn't complain, but I draw it out. She said, my car broke down. And so I went to the white guy opposite, who's a painter and decorator, because you know what? He always helps me. But this sister, you see, the Ummah in this country sees her as black. She said, I have Pakistani neighbors this side. I have Pakistani Muslims this side. And they see me every day on my own. And they see me sometimes crying or struggling. Not once have any of them offered me help. But the white guy across the road, he fixes my car. He's nice to me. He helps me. This is our failing, brothers and sisters. Like because we give money to Gaza, our beloved Palestine, that ignoring our neighbors is going to be okay. Do you think that's not going to count on Judgment Day? I want to tell you something I did recently. Paying zakat, still really confusing to me. Do I owe this? Should I be receiving it or giving it? I don't know. As a single Muslim, you know what I mean? It's confusing. So this year, I paid my zakat money to the place I love the most in the world, to Gaza. Alhamdulillah, I was able to send some money. But then this same sister called me. I know her, she's my friend, and I knew she needed money. She called me and said, I'm about to be made homeless. And I'd sent all my money to a place thousands of miles away. So I went from hero to zero in one phone call, because I had actually failed a sister in need who is in our ummah here, and we have to satisfy the sisters here before we can have the arrogance to be more generous with people abroad. Be generous here. Alhamdulillah. Racism, isolation, sectarianism. These are difficulties that we know are suffered in various communities in the Ummah in the United Kingdom. But, brothers and sisters, there is a but. We can change this situation. And my friend who was about to be made homeless, whose car had broken down, I didn't have the money to give her because I'd sent it to Gaza. So I looked on the internet. Who's helping reverts? Who's actually doing this? I was flapping. And I came across the Amirah Foundation. By the way, I tried 2 others beforehand. Yeah, we'll try in a few months. Send it to the masjid, sister. Yeah, it doesn't sound that important. I called the Amirah Foundation. In 45 minutes, they had the money to this sister that she needed. Takbir! Takbir! I spoke to Shaz and I thought, this is activism. People call me an activist because I talk. No. What Shaz and all of the volunteers here to do tonight is pleasing Allah with real activism in your city. Let's give them a round of applause. So I'm telling you honestly tonight, we can change this situation. We have the wealth in this community in Birmingham, alhamdulillah, and we have the generosity. Because I'll tell you, I have been scathing tonight maybe about the Pakistani community here. Now I'm going to give you the love you deserve. Because your community is also well known as the most generous in the Ummah in Britain. So my heart salutes you, brothers and sisters. Because no matter how humble you may be, you are the first to give. SubhanAllah, you know, honestly, when I go and I try to raise money for Palestine, I love my Arab brothers and sisters, but I don't go there, I come to the Pakistani community. SubhanAllah. So may Allah reward you for all the good you do. But let us do some good for the sisters in our midst. Because the problems are great. In 2010 in Manchester, there were 35,000 domestic violence calls to the police. I'll say that again. In Manchester in 2010, there were 35,000 cases of domestic violence reported to the police. And what is domestic violence? Is it a woman who's been shouted at for the first time? No. Is it a woman who's been hit for the first time? No. Studies have shown that women who actually get in contact with authorities have been abused at least 36 times. 36 cases of being punched and bloodied or sexually abused or seen their children injured before them, before they even call. These are the women that Amirah is getting. They might be on the 70th attack or the 80th. And we need to support this excellent venture. So I want to say to you tonight that as Muslims we are supposed to be the light, not the darkness. And I want to congratulate all the brothers who came tonight. MashaAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala count you amongst the best in humanity. Because I know the brothers coming here tonight must have gone, we're going to get a kicking tonight, brother. This isn't going to be fun. All the sisters looking at us going, is it him? Is it him? MashaAllah, you care for Allah. And that's made you come tonight. And may He reward you for what you're about to do for the sisters you love in this deen. And to the sisters who are here, our community leaders, and our co-workers, and our mothers and our support team, you know that you are showing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala love every day with your deeds, and may you be rewarded. And my sister's holding up my daughter, she's holding up a sign with a name on it. And she's asked me to give another example to you of why we're helping here tonight. I recently went on a Muslim retreat this summer, and I met a young girl of 23 there. Her name is, let's say, Louise. Louise had just said her Shahada. She's very petite and very beautiful, white English. She's had an abusive childhood. But Allah brought her to this deen. Allah brings abuse victims to the deen to save them from a wretched future. So she took her Shahada, Alhamdulillah. And she put on her hijab. And in West London and North London, she began to go to college. And what did she find of our deen? The Moroccan brothers came up to her and asked her to sleep with them. The Arab brothers asked for her phone number. I won't even tell you what the Somalian brothers did to her. She came crying to my house. That's why my daughters are raising this. She said, I don't want to wear hijab. I said, but it's your protection. She said, no. This hijab makes me a victim to every Muslim man I see. She was more frightened of showing her curves than covering her hair because there's a sickness in our ummah. Now, on the 27th of December, in a few days' time, Lisa's about to lose the place she was staying. She was made homeless earlier this year. No organisation I went to could help her. So she has been sleeping on the sofa of a drug dealer's house. A man who sells cocaine and marijuana. She comes and stays with me, but I only have a sofa. She needs a place. She wants to be on her deen, but right now she's saying, what's the point? Are we going to let 20% of new arrivals think this of Islam? Let us not. Let us be the change we want to see tonight. Every major city should have an Amirah. Can we start that move tonight? Because I'll tell you, when my friend needed help, Amirah was the only place in Britain that came to help her. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blessing this organisation. And may He bless all of you with the wealth of generosity tonight. We want to raise £18,000 at least. Let's have a think about that. There are maybe 200 people here. We only need 36 people to give £500. We can smash that target. 36 people to pay £50 a month. And you have rehoused 9 women in the kind of situation we've talked about. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me if I've misled you in any way or said anything that displeases Him. And I ask you all to pray for Amirah and pray for our sisters in need. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.